All right.
Hello, hello, hello. It feels so good to be on this side. Okay, so if you're an intentional parent, I know you're expecting to see your coach. Sorry, I'm here instead. My name is Etima Ome, and I feel good to be feeling like the intentional parent herself. You know what I mean? So you're welcome to this class today. This class is an amazing one. Okay. When they put up the advert and said it's a free online class, I want you to know that at the end of this class, you just want to send some money into her account to pay for this class. Yes, that's how awesome this class is going to be. Trust me. My name is Etima Ome. I'm a responsible teens coach on a journey to becoming an intentional parent myself. Yeah. So I'm a teen mentor, but I'm a teen parent as well. So I am an intentional parent as well. I'm pleased to be here. I'm even more pleased to put our coach Wendy Ologe on the hot seat. Like I have I have counted down to this minute. Like seriously, I'm gonna be on this side of the aisle, I'm gonna be the one questioning her, I'm gonna be the one. I feel awesome right now. If you're here, please say hello, please say hi. Just know that you are blessed to be here. Because today we're going to be talking about could how is a question. We're going to be answering this question. Wendy is going to be answering this question. Could how I was parented affect how I'm parenting my child? Could it could there be a link between how I was parented and how I'm parenting? If you know Wendy, you would know that Wendy knows her onions. Wendy has been on this journey of parenting parents and rather of coaching parents and other parent coaches for a long time now. And I can tell you that when she tells you she can help you answer this question, she can. In this module, we're going to be discussing the long-term consequences of child abuse and neglect. I'm a teen mentor and I know this for sure. Lots of abuses coming on our children, lots of neglect. Our teenagers are crying every day. Secondly, we're going to be understanding the intergenerational transmission of abuse and neglect. So I'm hurting and I'm hurting others. Okay, you don't even realize it. You don't realize you're hurting. So that's what one is going to be discussing about. We're going to be discussing about you thinking about yourself. Do you think that you're always a victim? Do you know you can also remain a victim if you don't do something about this? So Wendy calls it re-victimization. We're also going to be discussing how these things affect our physical health. We're hearing of a rise in suicidal behaviors, mental health problems, eating disorders. People are even becoming obese, alcohol and substance abuse. People are becoming aggressive. We're hearing of domestic violence, criminal behavior. The list is endless. I don't want this class to be one of those classes you jump in and jump out. Just like the way we are seated, I want you to please fasten your seat belts. It's a Sunday evening, the weather is cool in our nation's capital. And I'm sure it's cool right where you are. So before I bring Wendy, because I know a lot of us are like, Auntie Tima, can you please excuse us? Let's just get on to the class already. I'm just going to read Wendy's bio. I love to read it because everything here is real. Wendy is a seasoned parent, coach, and author. She authors best-selling books, Connect to Correct, The Discipline That Works, and the most recent, my favorite, From Yearly to Calm. Her book has sold thousands of copies all over Nigeria and across the world. She's the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy, a coaching outfit strictly dedicated to equipping parents and intending parents to intentionally raise their children positively, especially in face of our decaying societal values. Wendy has a great passion to see parents connect with their children. She has spoken on different platforms all across the world. She has spoken at CBN Africa, which is the most famous TV program on, rather, she has spoken on the 700 Club, yeah, which is the most popular program on the CBN network. So she was also at Facebook headquarters, still on this parenting journey. I'm reading this to let you know that she's not taking parenting coaching as a hobby. She's taking it as a life task. She's taking it as her life's purpose. She's taking it as something that we all need to get right. Wendy also, incidentally, sits as the executive director at Smart Office, which is a corporate organization. She has lots of experience in an international NGO. She has worked in the bank. Oh my God, I can go on and on. But Wendy is married to her husband, which we all know as the governor. That makes her the governess. she's married to she's married to him for 11 years now. They have a set of twins and a foster daughter about to get married as well. Wendy has done well. The Lord has helped her thus far. I like to tell her that she's one of God's favorite child. Wendy, we cannot wait to hand over the mic to you. We just want to get onto this class immediately. I'm itching to know whether the way my mom yelled at me, for instance, is affecting the way I'm yelling at my children. Wendy, you have the floor. Thank you for having this class for free. And don't be surprised when you get some alerts after this class.
I think I like that part. Thank you so much, Timaume. Timaume is the responsible teens coach. And if you know me and you don't know Etima, there's something a bit not okay.
Right.
So thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate you. And I am very, very honored. All right, I can see all the balls. I see Chinyerobina and I see Tope, I see Blessing. I see a lot of people here ready for us to go on this journey. And as a team, she already read a lot of things that we are going to be doing. We've already done a first part of this class earlier last week. Okay, and that first part of the class we shared on, could my adverse childhood experiences affect my parenting journey? Could my adverse childhood experiences affect my parenting journey? And as a way of introduction, we shared why you get angry. Parents actually get angry, because of, they tell you that it's because of what their children are doing. But many times if you listen to me over and again, and you hear me say that children actually don't make us angry. We get angry because we cannot control our emotions. And a lot of the times, you will realize that many of those things stem from where we're coming from. How were we raised? Okay, so in that class, we shared on adverse childhood experiences. Get your pen, get your paper. Even though it's a free class, trust me, I will give you something that will make you think for the rest of the year. I am not joking. Okay, so if you do an honest review of how you handle parenting challenges, when you handle parenting challenges better, you will realize that really you actually do that when you are calmer. But a lot of the times it doesn't just come. Why? Because of where we are coming from. Psychology actually says that the subconscious is formed from 0 to 10. It means that everything you've learned, right? Subconsciously, you are forming everything about your subconscious from 0 to 10. But they also tell us in science that when you begin to, think as an adult, that many of the things that you think about come from you. an adult is from your subconscious. Remember, I've already stated that your subconscious had 80 to 90%, of what it is that you do. So even when you get angry, most of your reaction comes from your childhood, a lot of the times. So many times I tell people, so when you ask me that question, could how I was raised affect how I raise my children? The big answer is yes. I will tell you why. Stay with me. All right. So this is actually, one of those classes that got prompted, as in I actually got prompted to share this because of some of the things I have read in the Intentional Parents Facebook group, which of course many of us here, came from there. And many times I have seen that a lot of people, a lot of mess have been made in their lives just because of how they were raised. I'm going to start this class with a tweet that was shared right in the parenting group, the Intentional Parents group on Facebook. I'm going to read it. It was someone sharing about the brother. And then when I read it, then we will go to, in this class, we're also going to be showing you how to identify if you're dealing with adverse childhood experiences. I'm going to read the text for us. We will take it and then we will put it out there. Okay, so one Doreen shared this post. He said, as a first child, one thing I observed early is how badly parental abuse was bruising me, and it was going to scar my siblings even more. My younger brother was notoriously hyperactive. My mom always said that she felt he was going to be a problem child right from womb. His tantrums were not normal. He would break walls, glasses, doors, ceramics with his head. Anytime my mom was leaving the house and didn't take him along, he would cry uncontrollably and destroy anything in sight. And this was even as early as 4 years old. He never concentrated on anything. In school, he was terrible, infamous for always coming last in class. If you like, add 20 more people to his class, my brother always found a way to beat them to come last. The very last position. Teachers knew him, other parents knew him, the proprietor knew him. Hell yeah, I can't count how many times random people approached my parents to recommend a pastor who could cure him of the demon because everyone thought he was possessed. Well, this story goes on and talks about how he was so disorganized and all that. Somehow she was able to get to a point where she realized that she could also help the brother. And she started to speak to him positively. And then the guy said he could come first in the class. He eventually did, relapsed, and eventually, got himself together. She said it was later on in life that I realized that my brother was actually suffering from ADHD. I'm going to explain that later as we go on. So many a times, we are actually parenting from our past hurts. And then she said something. She said, eventually, my brother became okay, but became more recalled. Do you know what happened to him? He found a way to cope, even though he didn't really heal. Healing from parenting hurt is different from deciding to get coping mechanisms. So now, what a lot of us, which is why we say we turned out right. That same guy has become so quiet, according to her story, and her parents could not understand why he doesn't talk to people. That was his own way to cope with whatever it is that have been done to him. All right. Now we're talking on adverse childhood experiences. I'm going to share a bit about adverse childhood experiences. This was a WHO quote. It says that there are actually trauma that occur in childhood from 0 to 17. When you experience violence, abuse, neglect, even witnessing violence around you and your community. Having a family member who attempted suicide, substance misuse, mental health problem, and all and all and all. The question is, how common are ACEs? What I usually say is look around you. In fact, statistics say that 61% of adults surveyed across, had experienced at least one type of ACEs. I'm sure you're wondering, what are ACEs? We're going to take that test and you understand where you stand. So preventing ACEs could potentially reduce a large number of health conditions. In fact, it said that up to 1.9 million cases of heart disease and 21 million cases of depression could have been potentially avoided by preventing adverse childhood experiences. So some children are at greater risk than others. Women and several, racial minority groups. In fact, the report that I was reading recently says that Africa is actually a hub for adverse childhood experiences. I hear a lot of the times where, we say, oh, adverse childhood experiences in Nigeria, we have children, we are training the children well and all that, with all the kinds of abuse that is, everywhere today. And we all sit back to say, no, this is how it should be. Let me say this. Long-term consequences of child abuse and neglect is very gross. You don't want us to go through all that, right? But the point is, the moment you remove the childhood's innocence, all right, you have destroyed the child. When I say childhood innocence, when I talk about abuse, it doesn't only include sexual abuse. It includes both emotional abuse, it includes physical abuse, and all manner of abuse that you can think of. Usually we say, oh, these things do not matter. Is there a long-term consequences of some of these abuse that we're talking about? The answer is yes. ACEs can have lasting negative effects on health, well-being, and opportunity. When I talk about this opportunity part, I'm going to start from there. You will realize that a lot of people have lost out on a lot of things just because of the way they are raised. Very interesting, yeah? Just because of the things that they saw growing up. Okay, so when you talk about ACEs, we are talking about these experiences that children have had that have been negative. And these experiences can increase the risk of injury. It can, increase sexually transmitted infections. It can increase maternal and child health problems, teen pregnancy, involved in sex trafficking. Look at the long list. The list is unending. The list is unending. So when we say it doesn't matter, the children outgrow it. Do they really? That's the question every one of us will need to answer. Do they really outgrow it? All right. So AC is an associated condition such as living under resource in an under-resourced, or where you're having racial segregation, can actually have so much effect on learning. It can have an effect on decision making, responses to stress. The other day I shared something on learned helplessness. Do you know that a lot of us actually have inculcated learned helplessness? Do you know why? Because the people who are raising us actually didn't understand a lot of things before they started to raise us. And some of these things actually had negative effects on every single one of us. I'm going to share an interesting story with you. I had a conversation with my mom today, and we were talking about, the conversation was on, one of her relatives whose children, she was wondering, why is this one like this? Why is this one not like this? I have seen that this one actually is doing well. Why is this other one, doing this way and all that? So she said, I think it's the child's fault. Every child that is raised should be able to, at some point, raise herself. That made me smile. I'll tell you why. My mom, believed that since she had done the job, whoever that parent was, she has raised them. She now said, isn't it the same kind of upbringing that all of them were given? I paused and I said, Mommy, let me tell you something. I said, every single one of those children might have been given the same kind of upbringing, but not every child actually brings in the same, receives training the same way. Why? Because children are different. One, they learn differently. They learn differently. The what's it called? They have different personality. They have different temperaments. So I am talking, sharing on long-term consequences, because when Etima was talking, Etima shared with us on, how I'm going to be talking on long-term consequences of abuse and neglect, which is part of what I am sharing now. When I was done with her and I said, Mom, you can be one parent and raise 5 children, and the 5 of them would not understand what you're doing because children don't learn the same. I shared typical example with my own children. I noticed, our foster daughter, when you give conversations, when you share conversations with her, because she's a very visual person, she's a visual learner. And then when you share conversation with her and you're not able to actually show her, it becomes a lot more difficult to actually get her to understand what it is that you're sharing. Before I understood that, I kept hammering and I kept saying, you don't listen. It wasn't her. So imagine raising children who have different temperaments the same way, and then you're expecting that you're going to have the same results. Children growing up with toxic stress can actually have difficulty forming healthy and stable relationships. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've had a lot of people say, but you're saying that our parents didn't do a lot of, things. I didn't conclude that story. When I was done, sharing that with my mom, earlier in the day, she started to say, ha, coach the coach. That's why you're a coach. It was very funny. But, when your mom begins to say, okay, yes, I agree, and she said, you made a lot of sense. The truth is, we have not realized that we are not, whatever it is that we do to the children, it's going to affect their brain development. Toxic stress actually from ACEs can change how the brain develops. And such things that, like attention, decision making, learning, it can affect the child. So you have those children. People have said that a lot of us grew up in this 21st century. Didn't they do well? How come we were not doing well? Because we're letting the children do anything that they want. I usually ask, where are we coming from? A lot of us are coming from broken pasts, which is actually one of the things that scared me. The truth remains that you cannot raise a child from where, your broken past, where you're coming from, until you heal on your journey. It is like, when you just put yourself, when they say that broken people actually raise broken people, and they say that hurting people actually hurt others, it is so true. So true. So are there consequences and long-term effects of childhood abuse and neglect? Yes. So Etima, I've answered that question. There's a long-term consequences of that, and I think we should move to the next module.
Okay. Sorry. The next one is one that interests me most. When I saw intergenerational, it reminded me of generational curses. I was like, intergenerational. Okay, so we're talking about intergenerational transmission of abuse and neglect. Are you telling us, Wendy, that it is possible for this abuse and neglect to go on from one generation to another? Is that what this means? I thought that I thought that if I've been hurt, if I was hurt by my parents, then I will do everything I can not to hurt my own children. I thought that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay, so unfortunately, what you want to do is different from, this psychological effect that we have. Okay, so let me say a bit of what happens as regards intergenerational transmission of child abuse and neglect. Parents who have experienced maltreatment in childhood may be at risk of presenting abusive and neglective behavior towards their own children. Actually, research suggests recurring patterns of abuse and neglect across generations. So the factors that influence these behavioral patterns are complex. And a lot of the times, people don't really understand it. Many times we do not want to do those things, but we find ourselves doing them. Why? Because I say that parenting characteristics are reflective, especially the negative one, because that's what the brain can understand. The brain understands that, it needs to, the negative is actually easier for the brain to pick. So, abusive and neglective parenting styles are strongly influenced by social factors. There might be underlying biological components too. Yes, nature. But most importantly, it is nurture, not nature. It's the way you are nurtured. Think of it. Come to think of it. You were yelled at. You were, all the things that were done to you. You didn't like it, but you find yourself doing them. Why do you think that happens? Intergenerational. That's why intergenerational transmission of abuse. Until you deal with it, nothing can change, no matter how much you try. No matter how much you try. So you need to understand the importance concerning this transmission. Why? That's why you see, oh, my mom used to yell so much. I see a lot of parents, by the time they come to me, they say, I've just started yelling like my mom, this thing that I just hate. How come you find yourself, you hate it? Yes, but it's not enough for you to stop. So it's not enough for you to stop. It's not enough for you to, move. So what you see yourself, you just see yourself doing them over and again. Is because nurture teaches you how you react to things. When I was having a conversation with a teen, she was in my house, and I was asking her, why is it that you like to stay in the kitchen a lot? She said, that her mom, her mom stays in the kitchen till 11 p.m. I couldn't understand why she's always in the kitchen after 7. We'll be done, and then she gets back to the kitchen. Nurture. That's what she understands. As little as that looks, that's a big deal for her. So it's going to reflect. Even when we do not want it to reflect, you will find yourself doing some of those things. Child maltreatment can be devastating, both psychologically and neurobiologically, the consequences. So the major areas in which damage can occur actually include behavioral and effect regulation, then relationships, then development of identity and self-esteem, then peer relationship, then academic performance and adaptation. So some of these things are going to affect the child. So consequences may extend into adulthood, and of course it will include internalizing and externalizing behavioral problems like post-traumatic stress, alcohol abuse, obesity, chronic pain, sexually transmitted infection, even unemployment, poverty. Do you know that poverty has actually been rooted to have a thing to do with adverse childhood experiences? The things that you have experienced as a child, has also can actually put you on the line of poverty. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Of course, you can also have impairment in attention. I see a lot of people, they say, I can't be focused. I can't get focused. You don't know that some of those things are coming from the effects of your childhood. Some people will say, I can't really reason like that. I can't really have directed attention. Adverse childhood experiences. You need to prevent abuse and neglect and associated consequences. However, you cannot prevent these things if you have not started to work on yourself. My favorite quote, most favorite, is parenting is about you and not about your child. You need to understand that parenting is you and not your child. Your child will be a child. It is you. If the method of parenting you're using is not changing you, there's something wrong with that method. There's something wrong with that method. In the previous class, we shared on how parents can actually, the different types of parenting styles and what parents, should begin to emulate to be able to raise children who will be able to do what is required. So, intergenerational transmission of abuse is very, very common. And why is that? This is also the reason why hurting people hurt others. Yes, I said sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, yes, that's what I said. Hurting people hurt others. Hurting people hurt others. It's important for us to note it's never going to change that people who hurt people are going to hurt others. I was having a conversation with a client, and one of the things that the client shared with me was, do you know that I still hit my wife? And I said, why? He said, because that's the kind of control I saw. That's the kind of control I saw. And that's all I know. I know it's wrong, but I can't get myself to stop it. This is what intergenerational transmission of abuse is about. If you have been abused and you have not gotten help, you will abuse others. Very, very likely. So there is help available. You can get help. So Tim, I think I've answered that particular session, and
Yeah.
we can keep moving.
Yes, you have. And there is something you said that I always remind myself of. That's the statement you said about you hit your child not because your child did something wrong, but because you cannot control your emotions. And so
Mm,
I truly agree with you when you say that I'm hurting, okay, and without knowing, without dealing with it. I think that's the key word. Without
yes.
dealing with my hurt, without accepting it. A lot of us parents are still living in denial. I don't get
Mm,
it. We try to tell them that this is the issue. They say no, it's all about the child. They won't always, transfer the attention of what is going wrong to the child, not
mm,
realizing that they are still hurting. The other day we're having the live class together on YouTube, and I was saying, I don't know why my mom was so hard anyway. Like, seriously, why was she that hard? Because eventually, as we were growing older, she was coming down. So I'm like, it's the same you. What happened? Things
mm,
that my younger sisters could never, things I couldn't do, my younger sisters were doing it and getting away with it. So that means there's still a part of you that can be calm, okay? There's still a part of you that can learn to take it easy on your children. I guess when our parents started parenting our younger ones, they just thought that, "Hmm, I've done enough with the older ones. I think I should take it." That means it's still a thing of the mind. And so that
mm,
means if parents can begin to deal with their hurts, there's every possibility that they can stop transferring those hurts to their children. Yes,
mm.
that's the only way they knew. Yes, that's the only way they still know. But there's still a way that they can know. So I'm thanking you, Wendy, for this, new knowledge you're bringing our way. Many of us didn't even know we are still hurting. I heard you say shared the other day about what parents were sharing with you about the things that went on with them when they were growing up. Really gory stories. But hopefully healing is close by. What we are doing already I know just knowing that someone else has an understanding of it is already healing, is already, bringing us some kind of succor. So thank you so much. My next
Hmm.
question will be on re-victimization. Why do I always feel like I'm the victim here? Why do I always feel like my children just want to hurt me? Why do I always feel like my husband doesn't understand what I'm going through as a mom? He doesn't understand how these children are frustrating me. Oh,
Hmm.
the society does not know that I did not sleep at night because of what my children put me through. Why do I always feel like it's all about me, me, me? I'm the one who is hurting. I'm the one who has the issue. I'm the most pained above any other parent. Have you heard parents say something like, my children are not like yours? No, you have never seen this type before. This my own set of children. No, 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 no. They are not like other children. My own, they are a special
Hmm.
breed. They when they
Hmm.
frustrate you, you would know yourself, that kind of thing. So I think it's a victim mentality. Why does it happen that way?
Okay, so I usually say that you see that victim thing is just us. It's somewhere in our head, like you said. You know, the re-victimization is because we are not healed. So many times when parents come to me, they will say, "Oh no, all the things that they've done, they did to us, I've forgotten it." Is not true. You haven't. So you find out that you are constantly hurting because you have not been able to actually deal with your past hurt. So many parents are victims, so they end up victimizing the children. Remember that I said that's what I named, I termed re-victimization. Because you were a victim and you haven't paid attention to those victim things that happened to you re-victimize, you become, you victimize your children. In fact, the first time I heard this, I heard it from one of my mentors, Isaac Onoja. And he said many parents are victims, so they end up victimizing their children. It resolved so much for me. So have you ever heard that, like I keep saying, an abused person will naturally abuse another until you get healed on that your journey? Let me share my own journey. If you have read Connect to Correct, my very first book, I shared on how I got the opportunity to parent a teenager. And that's our foster daughter. When I started, I felt I knew what to do. Believe you me, I honestly felt I didn't need anything. Let me say this: asking for help on your journey is it's an effect that you've actually been able to understand that you need help and that you're actually healing and going somewhere. People who do not ask for help on their journey is actually suffering from learned helplessness. Learned helplessness means that is a psychological effect. It says that you know that there's something wrong, but you've refused to learn. And I've seen that that's a major challenge for a lot of parents in this climate. Parents just do not want to learn. All right. So the mindset of many parents is how they treat their children and raise them. It portrays the victim mindset. Everything is about you. Until you remove the everything is about you in raising another person, you are never going to actually make meaning of your journey. Yes, you're going to raise that child. The child will get a good job. For us, raising someone well means that the person is working in a good place. But we have doctors who are abusers. Oh, yeah. They are physical abusers in their home. They're sexual abusers. They're predators. So what are we saying? So being able to raise someone well does not mean that the person has gotten a good job. I keep saying it. They are two different things. So I've heard many parents say, this is how I was raised. This is how I was raised. That's how I'm going to raise my children. I laugh. Let me simplify it. One of the ways people mismanage their anger is by playing the victim card. So if you're playing the victim card, and then when something happens, you say, is it not what they did to us? Is not what they did to us? Why is it different with them? You're playing the victim card because you have not healed. I've heard gory stories, you don't want to hear. I've heard people that their parents put pepper in their bomb, their parents. You are hurting. A lot of those people are hurting. So you become trapped in the victimized orientation. All right. You become trapped in the virtual revelation of life because you feel uncomfortable in your own anger. Now, anger is not a negative emotion. I don't like to call it a negative. Anger is an emotion. It's just that it's an emotion of fighting. So you need to understand what to do with your emotions per time. That's what gives you. That's what gives you exactly what it is that you need to actually deal with. So what most people do is that they adopt the victim role without even knowing it because they are afraid of their own anger. And when you say it to them, they deny it. So they project it onto others. All right. So many parents are raising children without healing from their past hurt. So many parents are angry with themselves. They are angry with their spouses. They are angry with their parents. I've seen a lot of that. They are angry. I've been there. Okay. So I've heard a lot of, people say a lot of things, I just smile. So, I was saying something that until I actually sat down on my own to say, I started to yell from the way my my dad, my dad used to be a chronic yeller. And I won't hit you, but he will yell and yell. When I started my own parenting journey, I was a yeller. And for me, it was okay. People who are hurting find an excuse to become that person. They never take responsibility. All right? So a lot of people come from the place of past hurt. Our childhood experiences show up later in our adult life and begin to haunt us, good or bad. So if you were treated as a child, illy, it's going to have a direct effect on how you treat your children. Until you understand that as a parent, you need to, work on you. You might not you might not get a lot of success on this journey. So working on you is important. There is no other way to actually deal with this. Childhood abuse makes it impossible to actually sustain a lot of things that makes life worth living. It makes it impossible. A lot of people had their parents criticizing them, or maybe they were neglected, sexually abused. A lot of parents are lost. They're scared. They're on guard. They're alone. They find it hard to connect with people. They're unsure of everything, even themselves. They don't know who they are, what they want, and where they want to go to. There were lots of criticism, harsh criticism that was used in the past as a way to raise children. People didn't know that those things can actually stop them from doing a lot of things. You will stop trying. That's what learned helplessness is about. You know that you need it, but you just stop trying. All right? So it makes it impossible. You need to take responsibility for your life. A lot of the times we become a casualty of the abuse we endure. Without help, the truth is it is going to be disastrous. So a lot of the times you need to get off the victim mentality. Your parents did the best they could. Your parents did the best they could. That's what you hear. Oh, stop all this. The truth is there is an effect. There's an effect. There's an effect for any kind of abuse. It's hard for those who have never experienced it. Some of these things that I'm saying, I can be sure that many of us have actually had the experience of child abuse in one way or the other growing up. The truth is, we don't sit back to think about some of the things that happen to us. And until you do that, you will not be able to. What are the coping mechanisms that you have put up? Some people even took things like not talking as their coping mechanism. You decided you recline. I say that when it comes to discipline, there are three things that a child will do. Four things. The child will either pull back, the child will either rebel, or the child will either resent you. So any of those three R's are in the negative when you do it wrong. So many of us just went into our shell and they said, this person is just very well behaved. Many times it's not just that. The fact that you hit a child to stop a behavior and the child stopped it doesn't mean the child actually really stopped it. So you need to understand that people, as you're hurting, you see yourself hurting other people. There is no way, there's no other way to it. You're going to hurt other people. You're going to hurt other people if you do not take care of yourself. You need to tell yourself, look at where the abuse is coming from. Deal with it. Deal with it. Is a big deal. Adverse childhood experience is not even something that we can finish up in this class, I can tell you. It is a big deal. So yes, re-victimization. That is what re-victimization is about. Yes, somebody said when I talk about learned helplessness, I am going to share that video. It's a comprehensive video right on the YouTube channel. It's free. You can take a look, watch that video and take a look at what it is. What does it mean to have learned helplessness? Yes, I said that learned helplessness is the reason why some people, some parents don't ask for help. Because you've gotten to a point where, they bring you, tell me, there are a lot of things that I ask parents. Most times, there's really no reason why a parent shouldn't read to know better. There's a lot of things, that come into play when it comes to, this whole adverse childhood experiences. It's very funny, okay? So learned helplessness is another topic on its own. Somebody said, are you shutting down as coping mechanism? Exactly. So people are unsure of themselves. People, this abuse story, I'm sharing it passionately because it means so much to me. Because I've seen that a lot of people are going over and over it and they are struggling. They are struggling. All right? Many abused children actually have, there's an evidence that there's a neurological damage, even without apparent reported head injury. That is, it's enough for us to want to heal from our past hurts. The fact that we know that our children, are actually going to get affected in these neurons. The neurons are many. And, like we were doing in one of the classes where Isaac Onojo was sharing on how the neurons can be grown. Your neurons in the head can actually still be grown back. So the neurons are being shut down for the things that we are doing to these children without even knowing it. Many times people say, what is it? We are shutting down the creativity of many of the children we are raising because of the way we were raised. We were shut down. You need to understand that dealing with adverse childhood experiences can, it can be dealt with. But the truth is that if you don't deal with it, they are costly. Economically, socially, in the community, and everything. If we don't do a lot of research in this part of the world, but if we do, you will understand that it's a lot. Children who grew up with all this kind of they don't have stable relationships. I was sharing earlier, I said one of the reasons why we have tripled rate of divorce rate is because of adverse childhood experiences. People are not coping. People can't keep stable relationships because of a lot of these things. Both sides. People say, oh, but the children that we are raising, these children, what are we doing with these children? The truth remains that these children are actually being raised by us who are hurting. We are hurting. Many of us. Many times you tell people about these adverse childhood experiences, they tell you, no, it's not really what happened, blah blah blah, it's just me. Do you know what those experiences do to you? You begin to even blame yourself. You will say to yourself, you actually begin to cut your abusers slack. That's what happens. You begin to cut them slack. You begin to say it's not like that. Do you know that children who grew up in violent homes learn the techniques of being violent and also justify this behavior? So they learn the technique of being violent. They also learn the justifications for this behavior. So, example, it is for our own good. You hear parents still say things like that. Childhood victims of violence not only were constantly saying things like, that's how we are. You say things like, that's how we are, that's how we were raised, and then our parents did it for our own good. It's funny when a lot of those things happen. So you hear things like, it's for our own good. So that's what violence, abuse actually does for you. You learn the pattern, and then you learn the justification. You learn the justification for it. It's engraved in those patterns. So you learn the justification for it, and you begin to give excuses. So when parents do that, it's not because they really want to do that. It's because they do not know. They do not know. They really do not know what to do. It's not like they really just want to, just so. That's why a lot of these awareness, we are doing it more and more, and trying to say, see, we're not saying that your parents are bad. That's not what we're saying, because that's the way a lot of people feel when we say these things. We're not saying that your parents are bad. We are only saying that the truth of the matter is that some of the things that they did has kept us where we are today, and we need to heal from them. That's what we're saying. So it's not about your parents being bad. It's about the things that they did erroneously that have kept us where we are, and we must heal from them. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to it. So I think that's about that on that part. Etima, thank you so much for holding the thing.
Yeah, there are some questions on the comment section. Would you want to go through them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Before we went a whole. Let me see some of the things. Okay, so I'll bring great comment up. She said we are shutting down the creativity of some of the children we are raising because of the way we are raised. Oh, yes, because of the way we are raised. And until we understand some of those things, we will not actually do so much. Violence begets violence. Some children are even abused by their elder ones too. Yes. They take over from their parents. Their parents stop thinking that they're helping. So it's an unconscious programming. So even the older children start to now abuse the younger ones and start to now do this thing. So it is nurture. You are nurtured to actually do this. That's what happens to you. You are nurtured. The nurture part of it comes, and then you become, without even knowing it, that these are some of the things that you are showing. Those days, when they tell you, oh no, you are yelling now, you don't need to say, what is it? Is yelling a bad thing? Is it not the same thing that our parents did to us? That's what happens to people who were raised with violence. They give justification. I was talking about giving justification for the violence that you share. So yes, you rationalize it. One of the reasons why you can rationalize hitting your child is because of that re-victimization. Is because of that thing in your head that tells you that yes, this is what it should be. You have been programmed to say that yes, that's what it should be. Somebody said we learn to justify the behavior. Yes, I think okay. So this is where we are. Let me look out for the question. He said, how do we heal from these past faults as parents? So, Ijoma, and part of what we are doing, what we do in the academy is that we have a lot of courses that we offer to parents. And in the recent times, we decided to actually put up a course called Parenting, Healing from Parenting Hurts. If you would like to be part of that course, in 24 hours, that course is supposed to be 20,000. we're taking only 20 people. The first time it was launched, we said the rebate until yes, registration, you could pay 15,000 before a certain time. But for today, I've seen, a lot. We are doing a 24 hours payment of 10,000 naira for whoever wants to be part of that class. That is only for 24 hours. At the end of 24 hours, we're not offering it again. That's it. We already have people in that class, and I don't want it to be oversubscribed. If you've ever been in any of my classes, you will know that I don't like large classes because I want to be able to have an effect on whatever it is that we're doing. So, Ijoma, that's the answer to that question. If you'd like to join, please send me a chat. All right. I will also send the details down here. How do I get the ebook from Yelling to Calm? You can go to my website, wendyologe.com, or you can chat me directly to get from Yelling to Calm. It's available. Then you can do it. So, Nkechi said, okay, let me bring this comment up. Nkechi said, I went from healing room and also had a heart-to-heart conversation with my mom. But hey, she said as far as she's concerned, she did nothing wrong to me as she's trained for us this way. So let me say this. Your healing is not for anybody to ascertain. Okay. Your healing is for you. It's for your own journey. It's for your own good. It's not whether I have had those conversations with my dad. He has agreed to some. He hasn't agreed to some. But you know the truth. I'm happy where I am. That's the most important thing. I am happy where I am. I am glad that I have walked this journey. That's the most important thing. So I think that's where I want us to look at it from. So don't look at it from the point of, they will not agree. It's for my own. Oh, Nkechi even shared it. She said, I did not discuss for her to agree or apologize. I did it for my own sanity. Beautiful. And the healing which I have achieved. I've been working with Nkechi for a long time. I can tell you, these things are real. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for any other thing. Somebody said our parents were not privileged to the kind of knowledge that we had now regarding parenting. Very, very true. Very, very, very true. All right. It's important for us to note that a lot of us, we're privileged. What we're seeing today, we're privileged. Our parents they didn't get this. So it's a privilege, it's an advantage. Don't let it go past us. Many times we look at parenting classes, we look at, we just, flip over it. Sometimes, many times I actually really, smile about it, because a lot of the times you find that people are constantly battling. Even though they are battling, yet, there's a lot of struggles, yet they are not, putting these things in perspective. And until you sit down to actually tell yourself the truth, you will know that this journey is not like, oh, let me just stand up and just, you will hurt your children in the process. And let me tell you the risk in doing this. Our children are not like us. Let me repeat that again. Our children are not like us. So when you go to the point of saying, is it not what was done to us? Are we not doing it to these people? Your children are Generation Z. They are Gen Zs. Go online and Google what it means to be a Gen Z. Go online and Google what it means to be a Gen Z. It means that your children are given to a lot of things that you are not given to. For instance, your child is a native of tech. You are not. You are not a native of tech. Your child is. So you're sitting down in one corner and you're constantly saying that's how we're raised. You are just doing yourself a disservice. Because there's something called cultural intelligence. I like to bring it in parenting. If you're still saying that's how I was raised, you're not culturally intelligent. And there's a challenge to that. You need to understand that your children generally are not going to, their culture, their stage is a global stage. Your stage was your local stage. If you grew up in Calabar like Etima did, that was the only stage she knew, the Calabar stage. Right. I grew up in Owerri. The only stage I knew was the Owerri. In fact, not even the whole of Owerri. I had the stage of what's it called? My streets. That's the limit I had. Your children have a global stage. You didn't. So make no mistake to sit back and say, that's how we were raised. I'm going to raise my children that way. It is not the same. You're going to hit the rocks if you ever try to do this thing the same way that you have said, oh, that's how we're raised. And that's how we're raised. Please and please again, begin to look for solutions. How you were raised is you being raised in wherever it is. And then now you need to learn, how do I parent the Gen Z child? The oldest of the Gen Zs is 23 years old. You need to go and read up on them. You need to go and understand how they function. You need to go and understand that this, your mentality, it's not going to work. When we're in a class, somebody said that the children used to call her BBT.
Yes. BBM, born before internet, BBI. Born before the internet.
Born before technology.
Then there's born before social media. BBS.
Okay,
born
yes.
before social media.
Born before social media. So, so some of these things that we are doing, it's important. Somebody said, I treated, I hope you don't mind, I'm bringing up your comment. He said, I treated my daughter the same way I resented while I was growing up. And I discovered that I hurt her a lot. She became so timid and so fearful. I didn't believe I did that, but it happened to me. Now, this is the risk. Now, this is the risk. The truth of the matter is, if you do not sit down on this journey, you will re-victimize. Re-victimization is real. It's real. It's real. And I said, I began to think, sat down and began to purge myself. That's what it is. Jumoke said Gen Z. It's called Gen Z. I'm typing it here. Gen Z. Go look out on it. Go and take a look at it. You will see it. Gen Z. Gen Z. And if you want to also join that class, this is my number on WhatsApp, or you can call to reach out. Right? So basically, I think I have looked at all the comment section. And then before we share on the last part, Tima, let's hear the last part of it. Okay, sorry, somebody had a process. How do I go about with the healing process, as in how do one heal from parenting upbringing influence? My dad was a great discipliner. It's affecting how I am training my children. And Mercy, I've already shared that we are having a course called Healing from Parenting Hurt, and that course is actually usually 20,000 naira. We have done early bird for 15,000 for people who are making payment. We already have people in that class, but that in 24 hours from this class, you can make a payment of 10,000 naira to be part of that class. And it's just for 24 hours. After 24 hours, we revert back to the original price. But I can assure you one thing. I don't do my classes and I leave you to figure it out all by yourself. I do my classes and I ensure that you are actually walking a journey with me so that you will be able to, go through this. All right. Somebody said cost of all the books. Please send me a chat for all the books. Each of the books cost, I think, 3,000 naira. I think yearly to come cost 2,000 naira. Send me a chat. You can get any of my books. Just send me a chat on WhatsApp or on Telegram that you're coming from, and then you can share this with me. You can share with me, and then I will share the details with you. So, Etima, which other part haven't we looked at?
Okay. Yeah, just this last part for today. We are having issues, like you already mentioned, suicidal behavior. These things were alien a few years ago, but suddenly we're having, the statistics increase every day. So we have things like suicidal behavior, mental health problems. I mean, the psychiatric doctors are working overtime. I know one personally. We are having disorders. People are having issues with their weight. Could this be tied to parental abuse? I mean, I want to because I know that we say this, there's this phrase that says charity begins at home. Could these problems, alcohol and substance abuse, the other day something was thinking around the house, okay, around in the estate while we're doing our work. And I was like, oh, that's thinking. And then my husband said, but that's what gets some children high. And I was like, can you imagine? We have heard that everything, almost everything and anything is getting them high, and they are happy to get high. There's an increase in it. There's an increase in aggression, violence. Something small happens. I know a teenager, direct teenager, little disagreement, killed somebody, ended up in prison within 24 hours. The rise is too much. Could there be a link? I am seriously suspecting that there could be a link to the home front, to how people are being parented, how we were parented, and how we are
Yes. So
parented.
what we're seeing today is the ripple effect of all the things that happened to us. All these ACs. Okay, we are still going to take the adverse childhood effect test right here. But part of what is our problem is that there's a ripple effect. So all those things that have happened and all the ACs that we're struggling with, we have also we are beginning to project it to the Gen Zs. All right. And report says that the Gen Zs are actually more liable to mental health issues because of they say that they have 10 times 91% even more to experience one physical or sexual abuse or stress or what. Do you know why? It's because of the people who are raising the Gen Zs. The people who are raising the Gen Zs are hurting. That's what the problem, that's what our main challenge is. The people, us, who are raising these Gen Zs are hurting. Well, we haven't healed from this hurt. So it is costing us. That's why I said ACEs will cost you. It will cost you a lot. And it's costing us a lot. ACEs are preventable. We can create sustainable, safe, and stable and nurturing environments amongst our children. And then, of course, that will help prevent ACEs and help children to reach their potential. Do you know that ACE is a public health concern? ACE is a public health concern as we speak because it's become so bad. It's become so long. So people are battling with this thing every day. Every day. And we are now tripling. The same thing I said about divorce, tripling. It's the same way.
Yeah.
This whole thing is also tripling. We do not know. We're not handling it well. We're not able to because we don't know what to do. A lot of us are claiming that we do. Unfortunately, a lot of us do not. And which is why what is now creating this system of these young people, this set of young people that we are raising today. That's why you see these young people, there's suicide everywhere, there's lots and lots of, there's just a lot of mess around. Why? People who are raising the Gen Zs are the hurting generation. So until we get this right, the Gen Zs are going to continue to hurt. They are going to continue to hurt, which is actually the real challenge. All right. So yes, it has an effect, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. I don't know if you can see more questions on the chat room as we prepare to round off.
Okay. Okay. So before we take the questions, I would like us to take
Our
the adverse
test.
yes experiences.
Okay.
The
Okay.
questionnaire.
Do we need paper? We need to write down the questions.
Yes. Write down. You need to write down your answers.
Okay.
You need to write down your answers. When you write down your answers, I would like you to project your answers. You can share with us if you want, or you can share personally if you want. But you need to bring a pen and a paper to put it down. All right. I would like to say that this test will show you a lot of things, a lot of things that you actually never thought about as regards adverse childhood experiences. So, number one, are we there?
Yeah.
While you were growing up, did this is going to be your first 18 years of life. Please answer these questions, yes or no, according to your first 18 years of life. And if you answer one, you put one beside it. If your answer is yes, then you have 1 point. If your answer is no, then you have 0 points. Did a parent or other adults in the household often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you? Act in a way that made you afraid that you might be physically hurt, or act in a way. So if you had a parent who hit you, insulted you, put you down, that means is either yes or no. So you can put 0.1. Are we there?
Yeah.
So, okay, good. I can see people typing ready. All right. 0.2. Did a parent or other adults in the house often push you, grab you, slap you, throw something at you, or even hit you so hard that there were marks or you were injured? For your information, this is not my test. This is test from WHO. It's not my test. This is a questionnaire from WHO. So your writing is a standardized question. So if you're writing, please bear that in mind. I didn't put this together. Right? So if that is true, you can put yes. 0.3. Did any adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you, or have you touched their body in a sexual way, or try to, or actually have oral, anal, or vaginal sex with you? So if you were touched in any way, or you were taught to touch someone in a sexual way, or the real thing happened, whichever way, is either yes or no, please enter yes or no. If it's a yes, please enter another point for yourself. Number 4, did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special? Did you ever have this feeling? Your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? Is either a yes or a no. All right? I can see that some people are writing here. Awesome. Okay. All right. Then 0.4, it says, sorry, 0.5. Did you often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect you? That's if you ever felt that way, or your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you, or take you to the doctor if needed. So if you had a drunk dad, a drunk mom, or people were just careless, to really take care of you, that should be a yes or a no. 0.6. Were your parents ever separated or divorced? It's as simple as that. Either separated or divorced. This counts for adverse childhood experiences. So it's either a yes or a no. 0.7. There are 10 questions. Was your mother or stepmother often grabbed, pushed, slapped, or had something thrown at her? Now we're talking about domestic violence. Did you witness your mom being violated, or kicked, beaten, hit with anything, especially repeatedly? Or was it even, a few minutes? Was it repeatedly? Were they threatened by knife? Did you see these things happen? Is either a yes or a no. Number 8, did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker? Your dad was an alcoholic, your mom, or who used any kind of drug? If yes, you put yes. If no, you put no. And then if it's yes, that means you have 1 point also. Then number 9, was a household member depressed, mentally ill, or did a household member attempt suicide? Any of this is either a yes or a no. The last question. Did anybody in your household ever go to prison? Yes or no? Now, you add up the yes answers. The yes answers are your score. The yes answers are your score. So you can tell us what is your score. That's your ACE score. The moment you are able to get this score, that becomes your ACE score, your adverse childhood experience score. All right? Your adverse childhood experience. I want you to put it together. So write either 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Your adverse childhood experience score. Your adverse childhood experience score. Okay, Astra says 2. Yes, your adverse childhood experience score. Whatever your score is, whatever your score is, Bimbo says 4. Ijoma says 4. All right. Chinwe says 3. We have 4. Joma says 4. Nkechi says 4. Okay. We're having people turn in their adverse childhood experiences. Ngozi says 1. Chika says 5. Somebody said, can we take the questions again? I'm going to repeat the questions again so that we can get it. Or maybe, is it that you came late? Or maybe you will catch a replay.
Maybe there's a particular question she missed. If there's a
Okay,
particular
if
one, she
there's
can.
a particular question you missed, let me know. But let me say this. If you have the adverse childhood experience of a minimum of 3 scores, WHO says that you're actually at risk. Now, if you have below 3, you should seek help, yes, but you're not at risk. So if you have a minimum of 3, you need help immediately because you are at risk. If you have below 3, then you need help, but you're not at risk. I feel like saying praise the Lord. You need help, but you're not at risk. So you need to understand that this is what you need to do. So if you have a minimum of 3, trust me, that class that I just announced is for you. Don't miss it. That's the bottom line. That class I just announced is for you. A minimum of 3. Somebody said I should repeat the number 4 question. I said, did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special, or your family didn't look out for each other or feel close to each other or support each other? That's number 4. I've repeated that. All right. 6/10. All right. So if you ever had any of this, please be in that class. Send me a chat and be in that class. ACEs are real. They will affect not just how you parent, they will also affect you as an individual. So it goes beyond how you parent to you, how you need to. Somebody said, I didn't get the first 3 questions. All right, I'm sure that when you do a replay in the video, you will be able to take the test again. I'm going to leave the replay for a while, just for a while, in 24 hours. All right, just for a while. Chika says that I should explain. I don't know, Chika, were you here at the beginning of the class? If you were, you will recognize that we have shared a lot as regards the things that happened, adverse childhood experiences. And this is a test to determine what your adverse childhood experience was. And I just said that the course Healing from Parenting Hurt is for you if you have scored anything from 3/10. If you have scored anything below 3, you can seek help, but you are not at risk. That's what I said. And I can see a lot of, a lot of scores here, and it's quite high. I'm even surprised. I won't be surprised that every single, person, just a few people have been able to escape this. ACE in Africa is a lot, and it's so real. So somebody said I didn't get the questions. I hope we'll get a replay. Yes, Violet, we're going to leave a replay for within the next 24 hours. Please catch up on the replay, catch up the questions, and do the test. Reach out to me if you have done the test and your test shows that you have 3 over 10 and upwards. So everybody who has had 3 over 10, 4 over 10, 5 over 10, 6 over 10, 10 over 10, then you need help and you need it urgent. If you have had anything below 3, then it's not you should get help, but it's not you're not at risk. That's the truth. All right. So please, and like I said, these tests were not formed by me. They are WHO tests. They are standards. While I was reading part of my TV, one of the things that you don't know about me is that I programmed for USAID for years. So a lot of these statistics are actually in my head and I know. And then I also have a medical degree as my first degree. That's by the way. So yes, so a lot of us actually need a lot of help as regards our ACE scores. So these are the ACE scores, and these are some of the things, and this is how the adverse childhood experience can affect what it is. It can affect what you're doing. And if you carry on with this, it will affect even your children. So you're going to replicate this, and you're going to have a intergenerational transmission of this abuse. Right. So, Etima, am I done with all the subtopics, or is there any other thing that we still need to address? Okay. Omolola said I didn't get all the questions, but I scored 4 already. Yeah, we know that a lot of that, would happen. So please and please, for the sake of the children that you're raising, get help for yourself. For the sake of the children you're raising, get help for yourself. I had to, I've preached it over years. I have done a lot with parents, and I've seen that a lot of the things that are happening to parents is actually coming from where they, the hurt
A
that they
place of
feel.
hurt. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's coming from a place of hurt. Please and please and please do it for the sake of your children. And I had already announced that class, Healing from Parenting Hurt. It's going to be a video class. We're not doing text. It's going to be a video class because most of what we're going to do in that class are things I need you to hear, not the things I need you to read. You need to hear them for you to actually go through the healing process. I'd said that class will cost 20,000 naira to be part of it, but there is an early bird fee of 50,000. I said in the next 24 hours, for everybody who is in this class, I'm offering a rebate of 10,000 naira for you in the next 24 hours. If you're not able to, please don't worry. We can do, you can catch up. The class is happening last week in May. That's when it is actually starting. So you can do the early bird offer as well. So please and please, I can see a lot of people. So if you have your questions, please chat your questions down. Let's take your questions as we begin to round up in this class. Etima?
Okay, yeah, I was thinking you were going through the comment section to see if you have any questions before.
Okay, the comment section has
Personally,
a lot of buzz on the test. That's what that's what is on the
okay,
comment section right now.
okay,
Yes.
okay. And personally, the question I would want to ask is, if I'm willing to get healed, is it possible for me to be, I mean, this is a hurt that has gone on, I'm 40 years, okay,
Mm-hmm.
40 years, 1 month and 1 day old. Is it possible? Is it possible for this hurt to heal in a few days, in a few weeks? Is it possible?
No,
Is
no,
it
no,
is
no.
it a short term healing? Is it a long term healing?
It's not a short-term thing, no. Please and please, let me also say this. We don't have automatic, I said I don't have a magic wand on this journey. If you are going to walk this journey with me, then you must agree to walk, do the work. So as we are walking, you are walking. Because it's not automatic. It can take you a long time. But you need someone to hold you by the hand. I keep saying that looking for help means that you're emotionally stable. Not asking for help means that you have a problem, that you have emotional instability. So the moment you begin to recognize that you have a problem and you need help, believe you me, it will come. But we need to understand, where the help really should come from. Let ask for help. You need it, and it can be automatic. It's a journey. A lot of the parents I know are still walking that journey. It's a journey. What we intend to do with the healing from parenting hot class is to put all the parents who attend that class on a journey of 1 year, where we are going to do a review every month, seeing what it is that have happened to you. That's how I run my own courses. I don't run my own courses and we just put it down on one side and just say, oh, you just continue what you're doing. No, because I recognize that these things take time. It takes time. So we run the courses on a like a routine. We keep at it. We keep at it. And then by the time you find yourself in the next year too, in fact, in the academy, we have a course called Creating Parenting Goals. It's an annual course. I intend to run it year after year. The parents in that course, I tell you, I intend to be there year after year until they are done parenting. Etima is part of that course. A lot of parents here they are ready to be right there until we are done with this 18-year assignment. And then we can now say, okay, so it's a journey. It's a journey, and you must understand that. All right. I think there's a question on here. Folashade say, how can you handle or deal with a partner that is not ready to heal but is going through ACA?
Wow.
This partner thing is a big deal. It's a big deal, honestly, because we have realized that being able to parent together, it's something that it brings a lot of success. However, we have a lot of things happening around the people, the partners we have. Many times we are not raising, we are not actually parenting the way that we should, just because we have a partner who is struggling with some of these things. One of the things I say is, please don't push it. Don't finish from this class and then you go and land on your husband and say, hey, that's what Coach Wendy said today. She was even saying how some people are this. Please, that's not the way. If you fight whoever is going through any kind of psychological trauma, the person is going to react in a way that you will not like. And the person is going to actually see themselves, doing something that, it's something that you yourself, you're thinking, what did I do? Please don't push it that way. I have a lot of parents in, my classes. They come back, the first time they come to me and say, my husband doesn't understand this kind of parenting. He's arguing. He's saying that it's not the kind of thing that I would like to do. Do you know that many times when they come back to me, I tell them, just relax. Keep doing what you're doing. At some point, you're going to realize that this person has seen results and this person is going to, follow you. If I would say, you need to work on you. Begin the intentional parenting journey. Is a journey. Start it immediately. If you cannot start it by, enrolling for a course, you can start it by getting a copy of a book. Trust me, you need it. This journey is key to the life of our children, to our own life. This is not about, I'm going to... You cannot see, ignorance is bliss. That's what I keep saying. Ignorance is bliss, serious bliss. But you need to start the journey and then begin to gradually introduce your spouse to it. So please, do not fight your spouse. Make sure that your spouse, will do this journey, will understand it eventually. In fact, today, somebody shared in Creating Parenting Goals class. The person said earlier today that the husband was the person who announced to her that Wendy, is it not 6 p.m. when he's going to be on in the class? This is the same husband
Come on, go
that
and
used to say,
attend.
all this he used talking. But gradually, he has seen results. It means he's
Mm-hmm.
working. That's why the
Mm-hmm.
husband is able to come and say, is Coach Wendy not coming by 6 p.m.? Are you
Come and
ready?
attend.
Go, better come. Let's go and listen. She's here. And I'm sure she's also listening to me. So it is a gradual thing. Please and please, let's not force it. Don't go home and say, we just came back from one seminar and we did the webinar right now. And the coach said that we need to, no, you need to change. It's not
And
going
we
to
need to
happen.
be healed. We need
And we
healing.
need to be healed. You now start preaching healing and start preaching advanced childhood experiences. Please, I'm begging you, don't cause chaos. It's not necessary. Somebody said, how can you help or save the children in the situation? How can you help them?
Yes, I was
You
going to ask that.
Yes. How can you help the children? Yes, it's actually a lot. You need to gradually introduce your spouse to some of these things. And you need to now begin to, gradually teach a lot of the things. There are a lot of things. Let me give an example. My dad was a yeller. My mom wasn't. I never heard my mom yell. I didn't, not to talk of hitting someone. So, but I grew up and I found myself yelling. However, there was something that bridge from my mother was able to help me do. Was able to create the stability that I needed. And I didn't get into learned helplessness. Because if the
Yeah,
two
right.
are it now happens that I will become helpless in my learning journey. But I got to a point because I saw an example from my mom. I knew that it was possible to actually parent with peace and calm. So I realized that no, there's something I must be doing wrong that I'm not doing properly. After Chuku said, how can one get your books, please? You can get my books on my website or send me a chat on Telegram or WhatsApp. You can send me a chat or Telegram or WhatsApp. Who else? Omolola says, it's hard, but I think the best way is to keep doing the parenting the right way because truth always wins. Exactly. The partner will, eventually agree. I can speak from experience. That's it. The partner will eventually agree. Somehow, the partner will get themselves to the point where they now say, okay, well, let's try this one. Let's try this. I have a
Mm-hmm.
friend, I'm not going to mention her name. At some point, the husband will say, all these things, all this parenting thing, all this parenting thing. So one day, he called me, he said, hey, oh yeah, coach, I have agreed. I need a coach right now. It was so funny. He actually called me himself and I was shocked. I said, you need a coach, Then we started on the journey. He now said, I'm going to be disturbing you. You tell me the kind of movie to watch. You tell me the kind of everything to do. I don't mind. You're going to, so just start it. Just start it. All right. So sorry, Bukola. Bukola says her network has been bad. So sorry about that. Yes, just work on yourself. Somehow it will flow. You can pay for him to be in the class. Exactly. Exactly. You can also pay for him to be in the class. Let him begin to hear some of these things. Let him begin to see them. So Kumbo is one person, you just begin to drag small. Like I said, don't fight it. Fighting it is not going to pay you, neither will it pay your spouse. Please don't finish this class and you say, I've learned a lot. Etima, right? And you will just jump off the cliff. All right, I think Etima is off. You just jump off the cliff and say, no, I know what it is that I need to do. My spouse doesn't know. Me, I know. So you can as well, make pay for your spouse to be in the class. Please, it's called Reeling from Parenting Hurt. We're going to just be dealing on the hurt that was coming from the parenting. If you're not healing so that your parents will come and apologize to you, you're healing for your own good and for your own sanity. And that is what we're going to be doing. Like I said, it's going to be a live class where we're going to allow people to cry. Cry. Let it
Come with
all
a
out.
handkerchief.
Yes, let it all out. So when you register for that class, know that we are coming to bear it all. If you want to survive on this journey, if you want this journey to make sense for you, then you need to do this. Let all your guards down. wear your humility gown when you're coming. Wear your humility gown, like Etima always say. Wear your humility gown when you're coming. When you arrive, you just let it all out. You're going to be letting it all out. It's one of the classes I would love to do, on video, so that we'll all be able to actually see ourselves. That's why I'm not taking more than 20 people. I will not. I will not. There won't be any, anything, any form of excuse to say, oh no, let's do. No, 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 no. I want to be able to do this, and we will do it well. Okay, Faithful has a question. She said, my first child had a load of my yelling and hitting. I've stopped, but I see her yelling and hitting her siblings. How do I help her? You need to begin. So your child is already exhibiting parenting hurt. It's a challenge. Your child is already exhibiting parenting hurt. So the first thing that I need you to do, I don't deal with children. The first thing I need you to do is get into that class, learn how to walk through healing from parenting hurt, and go and help your child. That's it. There's no other way. Because if your child is already beginning to yell, it is that thing, and she's also going to be justifying this violence that she's exhibiting. So if your child is at this point, what it means is that your child is begetting violence, and then she's also going to have justification. I'm doing it so that they will turn out right. That's why people say, but we turned out okay. Many times, me and my husband, many times when we have the conversation, I usually will say, who told us we are okay? Or we just decided that we are okay. Who said we are okay?
Oh
Or we
my God.
just woke up and decided that, yes, all of us were okay. We're not. There are a lot of things that went. So please, Faithful, that's how to help your child. If you have already gone through this, your child is going through parental hurt, and he's going to see violence as a norm. Right. I think that's the last question that I can see here.
Okay. So it's been an amazing almost 2 hours. Thank you so much for this free class. Thank you so much for the upcoming class, which I know is an essential. We need it like yesterday. I know that for the 20 parents that will be in that class, keep
Okay, so
running. This class will keep, running, because we'll always keep discovering, parents that need to heal. Would you have any more, any last words? But a question just popped up,
okay,
in my mind, so that you can take it as your rounding up. Are there
okay.
symptoms? Are there signs, that we can look out for in someone that is hurting? Maybe simple, more simple signs, not the grievous ones like maybe violence and abuse. Are there other? Can I look at a friend of mine and say, you need this class, you're
Yes.
hurting? Yeah.
Oh, yes. One of the things that you can look out for is things like decision making, learning. I mentioned learned helplessness. Part of what this inculcates in you is learned helplessness. How everyone responds to knowledge is actually a result of adverse childhood experiences that they had many of the
Okay.
times. So your response to knowledge, sometimes you share some things. Some people will say, I beg, all these things. You will know that this person actually has issues. This person actually has issues, really, without even knowing. They say, all these things that they're often saying, there's an underlying issue. That's number one. Learned helplessness. You know you need help, but you cannot. You are just not seeking for help. Number two, attention, focus. A lot of the people who went through ACEs actually hardly focus. They hardly understand who they are. They hardly understand who they are. Decision making, they are neither here nor there. Many
Yeah.
times there's always something, there's one thing or the other. Is it that here or there, and all that and all that? Then limitations, they are often limited. They are often limited. Many a times you find out that there's a lot of limitations. Then abuse, the ones who are also abusive had 98% of the time been through ACs and actually on the high level. All right. And then substance misuse is also another thing that is linked that you can also see and say that this person needs help. Then another, the most common one is emotional abuse and verbal abuse, which is very common among parents. Can we actually think it's okay? You know, we actually think it's okay. So it's okay. You know, some of these things we actually think that it's not a problem, but there are problems, there are issues. So these are some of the things that you will need to look out for. If you have a friend who, you know, haven't really, who haven't, you know, you think that, okay, this person might actually be going through a lot. These are some of the things you don't understand who you are. And then there's also this thing of crying victim. You're always the victim. It's an effect. It's an effect of child effect. If your friend is also, if you or your friend is lost, you are scared. You know, the other day we were discussing allowing children go for sleepovers. You see a lot of people who are on the edge. A lot of people who are on the edge. If you're on the edge a lot of the times, you will find out that those insecurities are actually being bred because of where you are coming from. So those insecurities are because of where you're coming from, not anything. Yes, Nkechi says true. Yes, when you said to me when I mentioned intentional, but yours, yes, that is part of it. It's part of the abuse that happened to children, you know, and then you just lose the focus. You don't even know that that's what has happened to you incidentally. You don't know that that's what has happened to you. You begin to see yourself lose focus. You begin to see yourself not being able to concentrate, which is now where decision making comes in. Decision making. You know, you find that you are always dwindling whether to or whether not to. You know, whether we think that some of these things are okay and normal. No, they are not okay and normal. And again, poverty is at the root of it. I don't even want to go in there because it will be another cause altogether. Then depression. Depression. And many times, if you see a friend that has been struggling with finances, go and check it. That person might have struggled with adverse childhood experiences. These are some of the things. They look seemingly, subtle, but they are huge. They are a lot. So you find out that constantly people are struggling with a lot of these things, but they can't know what it is. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. And if you look around you, you can testify to you can testify to how many people who are struggling with financial difficulties, limitations, a lot of limitations, a lot of scare. Even on your parenting journey, you find out that you are constantly afraid. You're afraid. What if this happens? What if that happens? It comes from your experiences from childhood. You're constantly afraid. Insecurities is part of the adverse childhood, the effect of adverse childhood experiences. Insecurities. So, how insecure you are can actually be pointing to the fact that you are having issues. If you cannot manage your finances well, check it. You might have gone through adverse childhood experiences without even realizing that that is affecting you. So many times we're living on the surface. We're living on the surface. And then if you have an unstable relationship, please check it. If you have difficulty forming healthy relationships and healthy behavior, please check it. If you have issues with jobs, depression, go back, check it. You might be dealing with exposure to toxic stress. You might be dealing with adverse childhood experiences, and all these things are going to accumulate to your journey being, stringent. Okay, so Amarachi said, I used to yell sometimes, but when I started reading Connect to Korea, I promised my children no more shouting. It has not been easy, but I'm getting there gradually. It's never easy. It's a gradual process. And that's why I said that adverse childhood experiences, you need to heal from parenting hurt. Is being a spendthrift a consequence of ACE? Yes. Yes, it's part of the consequences of ACE. It is part of it. So it's like I don't want to go into I don't want to go into that class already. We're going to deal with it, deal with your finances, deal with a lot of things when it comes to healing from parenting hurt. It's important. Somebody said occasionally I ask my children what they think. I'm determined to be intentional in this. Yes, you can get intentional. The more intentional you get, the more this becomes easy. And Kechi, yes, being a spendthrift is a consequence of ACE. People do not even know that their financial habit comes from adverse childhood experiences. The financial, habit comes from adverse childhood experiences. You need to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, these things will keep surfacing. These things will keep surfacing, and you will keep struggling with them. You will keep struggling with them. You do not want to continue on that track. And what is even most painful is that you will unconsciously begin to transfer these things to your children. Unconsciously, without even knowing that that's what you are doing. So let me look out for the questions. Nkechi, yes, Amarachi Uzoma, yes, Amarachi Uzoma, it's a journey. Let me say it again, it's a journey. Healing from parental hurt goes deeper than all this, they beat me, I turned out well. When you say it, I laugh. It goes beyond. It goes into your finances. It goes into your ability to make decisions. It goes into your ability to keep relationships. It goes into your ability to have social intelligence. It goes into your ability to be able to make money. It's interesting. It goes into your ability to be able to make money. It has a ripple effect on every angle of your life. So what it means is that if you do not deal with it, you struggle. You struggle. You see yourself continually going round the circles, and you don't want to do that. So you want to go back, deal with whatever it is, and keep moving. So if you don't deal with it, you find yourself, sometimes you find yourself struggling to make decisions we think is okay. No, it's not. You find yourself, being a mess at your finances. We think that it's just one of those things. No, poverty is rooted at the base. AC is rooted at the base of poverty. It's rooted at the base of your inability to make money has a lot to do with your childhood experiences. So much. So in that class, we're going to be dealing with all these aspects, the decision-making process, your learned helplessness. For this evening, like I said again, you need to sit back. When we finish, just go through this class again. Take that test again. If you need help, please seek help. Don't say, is it not me? All these things is affecting you more than what you can ever imagine. It's affecting your life more than what you can ever imagine, because you're still thinking, is it not this thing? They've done it now. We are all okay. Like we always say, but we turned out right last. No, we didn't. There's a lot of underlying issues that actually comes at the base of this. There are lots and lots of underlying issues. Okay, yes, Amara. I said if you scored below 3 of that test, you do not need urgent help. If you scored 3 and above, you need urgent help. See, forget whether I'm very calm, I'm not trying. You need help because, like I said, it goes deeper than the superficial thing that we're seeing. There's something I saw that actually made us, put together this healing from parenting hurt. It's a lot. It goes myself. There are a lot of things that I hurted from myself. I'm going to share a lot, in that class. And until you deal with that, it doesn't stop. Until you deal with that, it doesn't stop. So all these things that I shared, I'm also going to share the video on learned helplessness so that you can go deeper into it. So look at some of the things that we do. You can come into a class, on Facebook, and where we have 25,000 parents. Parents are not interested in learning. Why? What do you think happened? It is the effect of adverse childhood experiences. That's what happened. At the base of not wanting to learn is actually the effect of childhood experiences. At the base of not being able to manage your finances is the effect of childhood experiences. You need to deal with this. Please do not forget that you're not doing this for your parents. You're doing this because you need to heal and be better for your children. Right? I think Etima is back after
Thank
the
you so much. Thank you so much. Apologies for the really, unstable network. I see that some of us, also had the same issues talking about our network. God will continue to bless you and keep you in Jesus' name.
Okay, so I would assume that Etima's network is really poor. I know that network has been we're in the third world, but let me conclude, in this class. Like I said from the beginning, if you're not going to start from anywhere, start by reading. If you're not going to start from anywhere, please start your journey by reading. You need to start this journey already. Stop saying, I know what I'm doing. No, no. Like I like to say, I'm not trying to, be this, I'm just saying you need to heal on this journey. And like I said, go through this class again, let it sink in. And we're going to leave it for the next 24 hours. Take your time, let this class sink in, and then you begin to understand exactly what it means to actually heal from parenting hurt. Again, that offer for paying 10,000 naira for that class, it's only available for the next 24 hours. Please and please, if you have scored anything more than 3 on that test, you need help and you need it urgently. If you have scored anything below 3, well, you need help, but you're not at risk. That's the truth. You're not at risk. So if you want to be in that class, even if you scored below 3, is okay. But if you scored above 3, you need that class urgently. Thank you so much, everybody who came out here. I can see Nkechi. Let me read through the chat. I can see Nkechi shedding shedding tears. Nkechi, what happened now? I don't know why you're crying. Okay, Amarachi Uzoma said she learned so much. Chinyere Obinna, thank you for always being here. You're always here. I appreciate you. Nekoba says, thanks for the lecture. If you have any other questions that we need to take before we round up, one of the things that you must understand is that you are a model that your child is looking at. Whatever it is that you project is what your children, are going to project. Remember, parenting is about you and not the child. You can reach me, like I said earlier, you can reach me on wendyologe.com. You can check my books there, wendyologe.com. I'm trying to also type for you, or you can also contact me via my WhatsApp number or Telegram, any of the ones that work for you. All right. Afoma people say thank you. I am glad I joined your Facebook group. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Yes. Gracia Light, you need to watch the replay if you will need to catch up on the classes. So it's been an amazing, class with you all. But I would also like to say, please, anytime you find yourself struggling to learn, look back again. You might actually be struggling with an adverse childhood experience. It might look small, but it is a lot. Please go back again to look at it again and again. So thank you. Folashede, thank you so much. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you for being here with me. Please catch a replay of this. Please. I know the network had a lot of hitches. Please catch a replay of this and then start to implement. All right? Okay, catch a replay, Faith. All right, somebody, Gracia Light says, what is the name of my Facebook? I am on Facebook as Wendy Ologe. Wendy Ologe. the intentional parent. Once you put Wendy Ologe on your website, my name will pop up. I'm the only Wendy Ologe. And that one I can be sure. So my name will pop up and you're going to see everything about me. So you can reach me on anywhere. You can reach me on 080-343-77085. I've already shared that, I've already shared that earlier. Yes, this class is only free, and then I'm going to just leave it free in the next 24 hours. Catch a replay now, please and please. And if you want to be part of any of our courses, we have lots and lots of courses in the academy. We have creative parenting goals that runs throughout the year in the academy. We have books. I've authored books. I also have parenting coaches that have also authored too many books that you can also read that can help you in your journey. We also have other courses, becoming an emotionally intelligent parent, from yelling to calm. We have courses like understanding how your child learns. That's another part. Then we also, this is our latest, Healing from Parenting Hurt, is our latest book, is our latest course. We're just launching. This cohort is going to be the very first. And I tell you, I'm going to pour my soul on that class and then get that class running. I want to see parents heal on their journey and get this right. Thank you so much for everyone for being with me. I really do appreciate you all. Thank you and do have a good evening.